a saying about the straw breaking a camel's back, which I know it's a metaphor, but what are they really pointing to? How could a straw break a camel's back? Well, it's an accumulation of weights and things that have piled up till that breaking point when all it takes is a little straw to push the whole thing over the edge. Well, that's also what goes on internally. Internally, if we're not paying attention, we have little moments of going out of balance when things aren't the way we'd like them to be. And if we don't recognize those, then we don't take actions to bring ourselves really back into balance. And so a little moment of out of balance gets layered on another little moment of out of balance. And before you know it, they've accumulated, and now you're snapping at someone that you love or care about and don't want to be doing that. And so it's a very interesting thing that we need to pay attention to. We haven't been raised to notice our internal experience. Most of us, like myself, were busy worrying about doing the rules and following the routines and getting everything done in the way it needed to be done. No parent was asking, how are you doing internally? That just wasn't a question that was coming up. Even the question of how you're feeling often didn't come up for many people unless there was a very big emotional event, and you might be asked, how are you doing? And so our capacity to tune in and slow down and really feel into our body and check, did that comment register for me? Did I go out of balance when I heard that piece of information? Just checking in on what's going on. That's the skill we really want to nurture. And we do that in our programs very systematically because it takes slowing down, it takes focused attention, and it takes practice. It's not just doing it once. You need to really practice that discipline of tuning in and noticing how you're doing. Now, the extra benefit, when you know how to do that for yourself, you'll get better at tuning into others as well. And that's where we can really pick up the signals, for example, with our children. We don't need them to show through behavior that they're very upset. We'll be able to check in a little more closely. How was that for you? Did you notice that? And we then start training them to be aware, to pay attention, and then to actually know what to do when they go out of balance. How do I bring myself back into balance? So this internal balance is such an important idea for well-being, for resilience, and for us being able to show up as the people we really want to be and that we really know we can be. What creates out of balance is when something doesn't match our picture. It's very simple in one way. It's if you ordered a milkshake and instead you got a pop, you're going to go out of balance. We see it all the time in restaurants. It's when you're looking for someone and they're late, you go out of balance, perhaps. We all have pictures of how we want life to unfold. And literally, that's how our internal system operates, that at any given moment, we're wanting something. Right now, I'm hoping you're wanting information as you listen to me. That's what's on your scale, in a sense of an internal scale. This is what I want. If as I'm talking, you suddenly hear your stomach rumbling, I'm pretty sure you're going to change gears on what you want. And now you're going to be thinking about how do I get a snack or some food. All the time we're putting something on an imaginary internal scale, and then we're behaving to get a match for that. That's how the whole system works internally, which is why we say we're internally motivated. If I don't want to do something, it's going to be very difficult to get me motivated unless I can find something that connects for me or interests me or attracts me. So that's what we call the internal motivation. So when I say out of balance, what I'm really talking about is the mismatch for what I have and what I want. And that creates a little bit of distress in the system. And over time, these distresses can accumulate. If you've ever been a parent, you'll know what that's like. In the morning as you're trying to get ready and your child or children are trying to get ready and there's multiple demands, there's all kinds of little out of balance moments that can be accumulating that result, for example, you're finally in the car absolutely frustrated and your children are not in the state you'd like them to be for learning and the whole thing is not matching. Those distresses on a daily basis build up within us, and they build up in terms of our stress, they build up in terms of hormones and cortisol flowing in our bodies. So they have a lot of negative consequences when things pile up like that. And it's very important to figure out how do we have routines that will really allow us not to have so much out of balance and really be able to match how we'd like our morning to be or our day to go or our weekend or whatever it is.